Hi, I'm Joe the Slot Doc. Today we're going to go over what to do when you receive an IGTS Plus. Now you can use this for a slant top too, but the cabinet's going to be different. It's going to be bigger, but the same principles will come into effect. So to open your door on the machine is going to be here. Now even though ours is turned on, I recommend unplugging your game while you're going through it, just to make sure if you had it on your back and you bought it at some yard sale or wherever you got it from, all the quarters didn't fly out and made a big mess in there. So machine turned off or unplugged, okay, during this beginning part. But to open your door, you're going to lift this pin here. This front pin is used to these two pins. If you want to get another, okay, you got a good angle on it there. This front pin is used to only access this door, to change the bulb. This is to open your front door. So we're going to lift this up. We'll go ahead and turn it off because that's how yours should be, right? So what we're going to do is kind of go over all the components inside so you know what we're looking at. Bill acceptor. Now this here is WBA. This is really nice to have in an IGT. Typically in an S Plus model, typically you will see a DBV 145, which is a gold head, or a DBV 200, which is an all black head. Now keep in mind of this era, these are 90s style games. Bill validators were like state of the art back then. So this was very new. Most of these games are going to struggle with any modern bill, and there's no way to get them to take a new color 100. So if you're getting a slot machine and you eventually want it to take a newer bill, your only option to take every bill is to go into an S2000, and you could even put the same game kits in them. So these are good for the customer looking for coin handling, don't want to pay the upcharge because you got to usually buy it to install it back onto the newer version. So this is like the last generation of a true slot machine, truly taking coins in the casino. They all did, every one of them did. So anyhow, this is your coin comparator here. So that coin has to stay in there, and it's comparing that coin to anything else falling through. If you take that coin out, you'll drop one in the top, it'll just stop, and you'll wonder what's going on, and it happens all the time. There's a problem with the machine, they go, oh, okay, that's the problem. They take that out, and there's something else going on. So that coin has to stay in there. We're gonna walk you through how to take this coin comparator out first, and how to make sure that coin is in there correct. So don't grab it by this little red wire. I've seen people do that and rip it right out. Use your fingernails or a small flathead and pry this plug on the side so you don't break the harness. Okay, I'm gonna hold the door with one hand and I'm gonna grab the coin comparator and I'm gonna rock it off. So this side first and that side. And it's held in there by pressure, so you gotta really kind of push on it. Make sure your wire's out of the way. Okay, so when the coin falls through here, it lines them up inside there, and if it accepts, it'll come out this side. This fork will open and say, cool, you're good. If it rejects, it'll come out to the right side. So what we're doing here is verifying that this coin is incorrect. You're gonna slide this over to the right. Say I got my finger back here. You kind of see that. You can hold it here. Holding it flat to a slight angle. So flat, slight angle. You slide it over just far enough to get the coin out. Okay, now the coin is out. To put it back in, you sometimes have a sticker right here. It says slide to replace coin. If you don't, you'll have the bronze looking penny, same thing. So you're gonna start right here on the plastic on the top. See that? This flat part right here. And if you see this little plug, that's where the coin rests when you're done. A lot of people go, oh, and they put it way down in here. That's not right. You start here, slide it over just enough, work it behind that penny or the sticker, and it should be level. You let it go, and if you were to draw a line through this screw all the way over, it should look pretty level in there. And you can see it's not very far down in. It's right there. You can test it by dropping a coin And it should fall out the bottom right, and that's how you know at least it's sitting in there correct. Plug this back in. It only can go in one way, as you can see those little marks. And you line up your 4 pins. These holders break, and you can order those on eBay, or you can call us too. You push that in, you're locked in. That's how you handle your coin comparator. Now you only want to put the coin that the game is designed to run. So if it's a quarter machine, quarters go in here. Yes, you could put a nickel in there, and yes, it will accept. But if your hopper receives a foreign coin, anything other than what it was designed to do, you will hurt it. There's a knife right here. We're going to get over that here in a second. You will break that if anything foreign is in there. So go to the bank, check your rolls, make sure they didn't screw you over and give you something on accident. But if it's a quarter machine, make sure it's just quarters. Okay, now we're going to move on to the hopper. To get to your hopper, you're going to lift this, pull it out. To pull out your hopper, you're going to grab here, and you're going to pull this out. Okay, now this is where all your quarters go in, right here. So you dump them in there. And again, this is the last era of a coin machine. So all this stuff is pretty much at its peak of engineering. I mean, this whole bowl floats, it gets out of the way for coins. It has an agitator, that's what that is. So if you see a bunch of random plastic pieces broken inside there, your agitator's falling apart. And all that does is literally move the coins around. So it's gravity fed at an angle. The more pressure the coin gets on it, it takes off the wheel, and the wheel just spins it around. That's how it'll kick out. Counter's here on the top. And the transfer point, I don't know if you can see this very well. See if I can cheat and use my little light there. But you see that right there? Which is, I'm gonna try to put my finger right on it. That right there. That is called your hopper knife. And that corner has to be very sharp. I'm gonna help you zoom in just a little bit. Perfect. There we go. Now you can see it. So that corner has to be really sharp, because the coins are going to spin on this metal plate, and if this were the knife, that knife, the coin as it spins hits that knife, and then it now takes the quarter, transitions it off this plate to exit, and then it counts it on the exit. And then in the back, you have what's called a stop, which is there. So when the hopper is engaged, this retracts and allows it to spin. Once it sees the proper count, that lets go, and the hopper should stop immediately. If you see the hopper continuously kind of spinning afterwards, it'll pop a tilt. It'll say extra coin paid out, and you're going to have a failure with this. These commonly have issues because over time they're sitting there banging on that metal, and they work like a groove into the backside of this. So sometimes you have to take this off, and you actually have to file that down and make it nice and flat so that it can't get stuck. It needs to be able to release without an issue. Okay, so now you're going to verify that no quarters fell back here. Everything should look nice and clean. Inside your board is where it's going to house a 3.6 volt little half AA battery. So you're going to grab this up, lift it up, pull it out. And again, that's in there strong, so, be ready to kind of yank that thing out of there. Make sure you got no metal, no coins, no screws, no random stuff down in there. And then here's your battery. We already have a video. If you go back in our history and look up how to clear a 61 code, that walks you through how to change this battery. So if the battery is bad, how you know it's bad is put your voltmeter to volts. And just see what it's at. We just changed this battery so we know it's good, 3.72. That battery's good to go. If it's under, I would say 3 volts, I would change it. They're pretty inexpensive. And these batteries tend to last quite a while. 3 to 5, even 10 years I've seen them go. The key with a slot machine with battery life is you want to leave it on periodically, right? You don't want it to stay off all the time or on all the time. In the casino, they don't care. Essentially you can argue the fact that they're designed to never shut off. So that's okay. But in a casino, they don't care if they're burning up bulbs or monitors or LCDs. That's a revenue making machine. They want it on 24/7. At your home, it's perfectly fine to shut it off at night, give it a rest, all that good stuff. You just don't want to leave it off for extended periods of time. So the extremes on both sides are bad. Never shutting off or always off, you know, especially if it's a day before a party and it's been off for 6 months or something. You turn it on, it sucks when it's something easy like a battery is giving you a hick. So, you know, I recommend just turning it off at night. Even up to a few weeks is probably okay. Any past that, you might want to start thinking about putting it on a timer or something like that. Now, for install of your board, you're going to have these hooks. They're going to go in here. You see that wire there? You want to make sure that doesn't get caught into the side. So make sure you have no wires. Once you're lined up, you really got to bop these down into place. They don't really go in on their own friendly. So you see the gap here on the bottom? There's not much there. Maybe a 1/4 inch tops from the board, the green part, to the board there. There's almost a 1/2 inch of metal down here. Those are just indications to know you got the board seated in all the way, that it's not partially up, okay? To install back your hopper, your grooves slide in here and you slam it in there. No talent there, just get it in, push it in. Your on-off on an S Plus is located in the upper right corner. On the earlier S models, it's going to be over here, and the self-test button is in a different location on those. Once I get one in, I'll make a video of that to show the difference. This little self-test button is either beside the on-off, like this one, or it's directly behind on the same bracket here. So if you don't see that, doesn't mean it's not there. Just they, for some reason, I don't know why, about half of them do that. They're on the back side there. So turn it on. You saw the reels move a little bit. That indicates you do have the low voltage going to the CPU. If for some reason you don't have reels going to the CPU, a very common problem is this plug right here that we have replaced already, as you can see. But that plug can fail and literally cause, just disconnect it and show you, no power. So your lights come on, no display, machine's dead, what's going on, what do I do? And it's because you're not getting any low voltage to the CPU. Plug that in, and now the board's got power and everything's happy. So check that, that's very common. Probably as years go on, we're seeing it almost in every machine now. So in the beginning it was about half the games, and yeah, that Molex connection is just, you know, a weak point from the manufacturer side. Well, I wouldn't even call it that. I mean, this game was used in the 90s. I mean, we're approaching 30 years old now, so it's probably not considered a weak point, it's just something to look at now. So again, line up your grooves, slide your hopper in. Your coin tray just locks in. Only one way it can go. You got your little marks, put it on, push it down. There are 3 fuses here on the side, so one of them is for lights, the other 2 are for the board. If no lights are on anywhere, check the fuse. If no power after messing with that plug, check the fuse. As you can see, if I take that out, I got no power now to my reels. If I take the top one out, I also have no power to my reels. All right, there's power there. This bottom one is lights. I thought that one was lights. So there's your lights. If you have 0 lights working anywhere, definitely check that one. Putting this back on. Now 3100 showed up. Make sure I got this tray all the way in. 3100 showed up because I had the hopper out during play, so it sees that. When you close the door, it's always going to try to fix any problem it sees. So if it has an error code on an S Plus, it's going to display it under winner paid. And opening and closing the door, it's always going to try to correct it. On the S2, they word to you instead of a code what's going on. So even if I open the door and move a reel, I see 43. What's 43 there for? If I look on this sheet, 43, reel 3 tilt. Now, even if I tried to trick it, right? Let's say I really tried to screw it up. It doesn't matter. The game knows where the reels belong, and it will put them back. I'm a whole spot off, too. It'll put them right back where they belong. Okay, now you want to check the actual functions of the machine. Make sure it accepts quarters. Now you can test your hopper with just a few credits by hitting cash out. If you don't have enough quarters, so hearing it spin, can you hear it trying? I actually got one out, see if it even get the other one out. There's only 2 in there. If it can't get them out, the machine's gonna think something's wrong. It's gonna give you a tilt. $3,300 is hopper empty. Now, simply lifting the pin and closing it, the machine will assume you fixed it, and it will turn the hopper right back on even if you didn't. And then it'll immediately come back on if you didn't put coins in. So put some coins in. I'm just gonna push this one up and make it work so that it just cashes out pretty quick. And voila. So we know the hopper is working good. I'm gonna stretch my legs. This is a good time for you to hit our like and subscribe button if you'd like. We have 2 showrooms in Arizona, so one down in Tucson, one up in Mesa. Both showrooms service all of Arizona. We also have an online store too. So if you're looking for anything, just give us a holler, or if you want us to make a video on something you have, send me a message or a comment or so. Back to this guy now. So checking your bill acceptor. Not all of these are capable of taking modern bills. And some are only capable of taking it bill head up, face to the right, like the DB145. That's the only direction it'll take it. We're lucky here, and this one's WBA. It'll take it in any direction. And this one already has a newer chip in it to accept the newer stuff. Let's see if it doesn't call me a liar. Cool. You can check all your buttons too to verify they all work. If you want to change them, they're 555s is the part number for these big ones. These are 86s. There's one here, and one here. The fluorescent tubes are F15s, and there's a starter on each fluorescent tube. To get your bills out, you're gonna lift your pin up here, open your door. Open this door here, and there's a gold pin right here. You see that? Gold lever. Pull that down, and then pull the cash can out. From here, you just flip it upside down, and it will store your money nice and pretty in there. Capable of holding over $60,000 if you only put $100 bills in it, so it's a massive piggy bank. You can mail it to me if you got it full. No charge, I'll just empty it out for you. Now right here, WBA, this way up, arrows out. So those you want on the outside, facing straight up. Hold your handle in just like this. And if my hand were this, we're looking at it from the side, you don't want to go like this, putting it in. Okay, you want to hold it to the top, slam it in like you don't think you could break it. So this is what I mean. You see this gap right here? You don't want it rocking. Hold it to the top, slam it in. Make sure the lever goes back up. So that exact cycle is the same every single time. If you have a problem with your bill acceptor, the first thing I'll ask you is put the phone up to it so I can hear it. And I can usually tell what's going on just by what cycle is missing. Close your front door. You want to lift this pin and always assist your door. If you do it right, the door will last you forever with no problems. You should never take a hammer to this pin. I've seen a customer do that. Okay, so hold this up. You're going to assist the door in getting it closed, holding it up a little bit. Now you come on this side and you look at it. If your door is all the way closed, this pin should fall with hardly any fight at all. If this pin fights you, usually something is not closed all the way or it was mishandled before. And usually what happens is people go like this and they slam it shut. And this hits that right here and puts it so far out of whack that this now struggles to curl around it. So you're either coming in here with a Dremel and you're opening this up, or you're bending this up. Or if you just take your time and lift it, assist the door, it will open like this. This is a 94, 95 model, and it opens and closes perfect. So you can definitely preserve them. This one's in just good shape. This was a trade-in that we took and then resold it. We've been in business so long that we have trade-ins that are 15, 20 years old, which is pretty cool. But that's it. Standard 110, all these machines operate on. Real easy game to keep running. Windex is a good cleaner. You don't have to get too nuts with it, but just spray and wipe. It preserves. It has just enough alcohol to take off all your finger grease, which will eat the chrome. If you want your chrome to survive like that, just keep it wiped down every now and then. Keep your finger grease off of it. But thank you for watching our video, and we'll see you on the next one.